I am having a bad beard day.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but I didn't, want to hurt your feelings or anything.
I mean, that beard looks like some Duck Dynasty's, one of Duck
It
Dynasty's
does.
children's beard on heroin.
On heroin.
Where's the beard?
He's probably got the oil and the brush.
Well, I make my own beard oil.
Ooh,
Shout
coconut
out
oil?
Beard oil.
All right, welcome to another episode of Sanctuary Radio. This is a podcast brought to you by Sanctuary Recovery Centers. Our mission is to break the stigma surrounding addiction, to empower others to live addiction-free lives, providing hope to those who suffer from addiction, and offer continued care and true healing. And that's what it's all about, Haley.
Absolutely.
There's my co-host, Haley.
Hello, everybody.
She did her hair today.
I did.
Thank you
My
for
hair,
that.
my makeup, everything.
I mean, you have the full throttle.
Everyone's casual Friday, but not me.
Not you.
Nope.
You go above and beyond.
I absolutely hate it in the summertime because it just melts off later when I go outside. So
Okay, well, I want to welcome today's episode. We have Mr. Ethan Ogden on the show today. So I want to welcome Ethan to the show. Ethan's the case manager here, and we thought it'd be an awesome opportunity to bring him on, share his story. You know, everyone that works for Sanctuary has a story, and when we look at that and we're able to utilize our past to help others, that's what we're looking for here at Sanctuary Recovery Center. So here we are. We got Ethan on the show.
I'm so excited.
I mean, the beard, brother.
The beard, yeah.
The beard.
Bad beard day.
I mean, the beard looks great.
It doesn't, Jason. Not today.
I think it looks good, man. I really do.
Tolerable at best.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to tolerate it for about 45 minutes. Okay.
I appreciate that.
All right. And so we got Ethan on the show today. He's a case manager here, like I said. And, we really want to share his message and his story and, the transformation in his life, because, that's what it's all about,
Right.
Going through struggles and overcoming them. Because, like we previously said in other episodes, it's all about, minor setback, major comeback.
Right.
And everybody loves a good comeback story. And
Everybody.
And you got a good comeback story.
I got a comeback story.
Yeah, you got a pretty good comeback story.
He's like, it's good.
I mean, are we going to talk about it today or?
Tolerable.
It's
Tolerable.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna
absolutely.
We're going to talk about it today. So, let's talk about where it all started. Every journey starts somewhere. So let's bring it full circle and let's talk about, I know you grew up, shout out Indiana Hoosiers.
In Indiana.
Did you shoot hoops?
I did not.
Okay.
No sports.
Isn't that like, a prerequisite to living in Indiana is to at least shoot some sort of hoop?
Yeah, you would think. And I did try, Jason. I really did for like a short period of time. Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't for
not an athlete.
for you.
It wasn't for you. So you grew up in Indiana. You lived there for 21 years. And so let's talk a little bit about what it was like growing up. You ever been to Indiana, Haley?
No.
No?
I'm sorry, Ethan.
Have you ever been outside of Arizona?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yes, I used to rodeo.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's not in Indiana.
Just no. I don't think there's a lot of rodeos in Indiana.
I couldn't tell. There's cornfields.
Yeah, I was going to say, nope, not
Get
coming to
lost
mind.
out there in a cornfield.
That just sounds scary.
That does
Reminds
sound
me of
scary.
the movie Signs.
Children of the Corn.
You figure it out.
Yeah, you
Okay.
figure it out. And so you were born in Indiana. And so why don't you talk a little bit about what childhood was like, the family dynamic, and, what growing up in Indiana really was all about for you?
It was, I did love Indiana. I haven't been to too many other places either, so it was kind of all I knew. I know growing up, I had loving parents. I had a half brother that was 11 years older than me, so it was pretty much an only child. By the time he was in college, I was getting just pretty much treated like an only child. And
Were you spoiled?
I was.
Haley, were you spoiled?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
I was the middle child, so I was like spoiled kind of, but not as much as like my older sister, my younger sister.
Yeah,
I was in that middle.
It wasn't like when you think spoiled, like, all this nice fancy stuff. We didn't have a lot of money, but, within reason, I usually had about everything I wanted. And
You probably got to do whatever you wanted.
Well, there weren't too many repercussions,
You had cool mom and cool dad?
Jason knows something about that.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think so. I really loved the relationship that I had with my mom and dad. The mom was real loving and caring, and my dad was too. He did kind of drink a bit, and it wasn't to the extent of like a disruptive, sloppy, like alcoholic, but it'd be like he's gonna work all day, drink beer on the way home, and then he's just gonna end up falling asleep. but he loved me, and it wasn't like an abusive thing or anything like that. He was just, sometimes not
Present.
fully present. Yeah.
Yeah, work all day, grab a sip. What do you like to drink?
Budweiser.
Budweiser
And Marlboro Reds,
That sounds like my kind of people. I'm not gonna lie.
Haley, when you used to drink, what was your go-to beer?
Coors Light.
Coors Light.
Natural, natty ice.
Oh, you like that natty?
Whatever.
Ooh.
We would steal from the Cowboys, and that was their go-to, was like natty ice or Coors Light.
You would think they would drink whiskey though.
Not really. When they drink beer, it's Coors Light. They're not so much Bud Light, but
No, I was Coors Light myself.
Oh, Coors Light.
Yeah.
I like Heineken.
when I did drink whiskey, it was Jack Daniels though.
Oh, Jack Daniels.
Jack
The
Daniels.
old Jack and Coke.
Oh, okay. All
No
right.
Coke, just Jack.
What's that joke, Haley? I mean, go to Haley's TikTok. I mean, on her TikTok, I mean, I think it's one of the funniest jokes, and I'd seen it a while back, and it,
Oh, that's on our Sanctuary page.
That's on our Sanctuary
Yeah.
one. Yeah, go to Sanctuary Recovery Centers. Check out our TikTok. There's a funny joke about Coke on there.
That is a pretty funny joke.
It is a pretty funny
Yeah.
joke.
I don't even
Right
think
up your
I've
alley,
seen it.
Jason.
Yeah, it is right up my alley. And so ultimately, man, you had a great childhood. You pretty much had everything you could possibly want, And I always like to hear that kind of thing, because a lot of times when we think about addiction, we think that the only people who suffer from addiction are, kids who grow up in broken homes,
Right.
horrible environments, extreme trauma. But that's not always the case. It's not my case either. So when did you start using though?
I was about 14 years old, 13, 14, pretty sure it was 14. But what happened was I was, my brother is off at college, and we had a basement, so he used to live in the basement. Because of bigger, privacy. Well, I moved into the basement.
Oh, you moved to the basement.
Moved to the basement.
You ever
when I
lived in
moved
a
out.
basement, Haley?
Well, and we had a 3-story house, and yes, our rooms
my
were in the
bad.
basement. And we used to
3-story.
sneak out the window or bring boys in. And I was probably like
no.
14, maybe 13.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you get it.
We were just
minus
kissing
an
under the
extra story of the
blankets.
house, but you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
And so I stumbled in. I was going through a box, and I found, I knew to look for a label that said, may cause drowsiness when operating machinery, And I had never used any drugs at that point, and I didn't really know a whole lot of people who did, But I knew, whether it was from TV or whatever, I couldn't tell you how I knew, that, painkillers are pills that people take to feel different. And I saw them, and it was from some surgery my brother had or something. They were laying around.
Oh, the wisdom teeth.
Yeah.
Probably
the old
something
wisdom
minor.
teeth.
Yeah.
And I remember taking a couple of those out, and I didn't know what to expect. I mean, like, at all. Like, I had no idea what drugs did, like, in the least. And I was feeling a little ballsy, so I waited till I got to school.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I took them when I got to school, And about 40 minutes after that, I remember feeling this sense of confidence. I'm on top of the world. Now keep in mind, I was a little bit, overweight, little.
You were a little chubby kid.
Chubby little Ethan.
Aw.
Yeah.
You didn't miss a meal either. Mom and Dad treated you
Did
good,
not
didn't
miss
they?
a meal. No, my mom's side of the family's Italian. We were,
Oh.
Ooh, we know
Okay.
something about that, don't we,
Yes,
Jason?
Yeah.
we do.
no, we were well fed.
Corn fed.
But one thing I think that's important, that's kind of different than what you normally hear. Most of the time it's that natural progression from
Right.
drinking to smoking weed to doing coke to some ecstasy to some acid. Then all of a sudden now you get strung out on heroin or meth, or pills then come into the mix, which ultimately leads to heroin. But you go straight
To the
pills.
source.
Straight to opiate. And it wasn't even like that's not what I ended up having, as my main thing. Those other things, the drinking, the alcohol, and then the Xanax and all the other pills, I was involved with, a girl that I had known, since I became a teenager, and her mom was prescribed all these things, and she was prescribed all these things, and, the Adderall and the Xanax and all that. So naturally that's just what happened, and we just started off to the races with that.
Yeah.
At 14 years old, just running and gunning.
At 14. And, I eventually convinced my doctor I needed Adderall too.
You ever been on Adderall, Haley?
Yeah. It doesn't work well with my body type, so.
Oh, it doesn't.
No.
You were on the orange ones, huh?
I don't know which ones I was on. They didn't last very long, so they put me on Ritalin for a little while.
Oh yeah.
I did the genetic testing, though, so it shows you what your body metabolizes better, and Ritalin happened to be.
Did it work for you?
I did. I just recently got off of it.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
You're on them little small
You could
ones.
probably tell when I was on it versus now. I'm a lot more hyperactive for sure.
I mean, I didn't want to say anything about that,
It's fine.
but I could tell.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people can. I've actually been told you should probably get back on your meds, but that's another story, another time.
You might want to see a physician.
I have a few.
Yeah.
I have a whole team, Jason.
Which one? And so ultimately, man, you start taking some pills, and then you know when we're taking pills, and all of a sudden we find more pills, and then all of a sudden now we're at the doctor, and the doctor's giving us more
Right.
pills, and it just goes and goes and goes. And ultimately, once we start changing the way we feel, and what I like what you said is you said you like the effect pretty much. As soon as you took it, you like the effect, and that's what the big book tells us, man. It tells us we like the effect produced
Right.
by drugs and alcohol. But the sensation is elusive, right? And the sensation that they're referencing is that beginning sensation when it was fun, we can control and enjoy it,
Right.
which was when for me, Haley?
1997, that one high school party.
Sophomore year, high
Sophomore
school.
year.
Shout out,
How
Cactus
old were we?
Cobras.
Or how old were we, Ethan? In 97.
In 97,
Were you born?
I was 3.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I was going to say, he's younger than
Oh
me.
my God, you're a youngster.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now I'm connecting the dots real serious right now. And so we like the effect, but the sensation's elusive, and we're always trying to get back to that point where we can control and enjoy it. And
There's
our
no going back.
And there's no going back. And our alcoholic, drug-addicted life begins to seem normal. And when we're not getting high, we're restless, irritable, and discontent,
Right.
unless we could again get high. And it's that revolving cycle that the big book and the doctor's opinion talks about. And so ultimately you start experimenting, you started drinking, you started smoking, and the consequences start to happen real quick for you. I think it's safe to say you weren't the valedictorian of your high school, were you?
I absolutely was not. No, this lasted. I made it to freshman year, and I don't know how I did. I never passed a class that I can think of. I think I even failed PE.
How do you fail PE? Just not showing up?
I was an overweight
kid.
And
I see what you're saying.
Like to run the mile, and maybe not showed up. I don't know.
For
but-
Ethan.
Look, dude.
Okay.
But yeah, I ended up at this point I had kind of been introduced to the program too. I left out that my mom did. So I think it was AOL Instant Messenger or whatever it was. Something popped up on the computer and that alluded to me doing substances or something along those lines.
Oh, mom caught wind.
She got concerned. So my introduction to the program was at 14 as well. And I did get kicked out of school first semester of freshman year selling weed.
Selling weed would you get caught on campus?
I did. I don't know what happened, man. I sold the weed and
got arrested.
I got pulled out of the class shortly thereafter, man.
Excuse me, Mr. Ogden, you need to come to the principal's office.
Yeah, I never got real good at that whole selling drugs process. I tried at a young age, thought it would get better over time.
And it didn't work. Yeah, it
Did
doesn't
not
work. And just like everything, it might go good for a period of time till it always
Right.
goes so bad. You ever sold any drugs, Haley?
No.
No.
No, I didn't even want to
You didn't
climb
want-
that
you
mountain.
didn't
I'm
want-
good.
That's a mountain you don't need to climb.
people just gave me drugs. You know
Oh,
what I
they
mean?
did?
3-story house.
Yeah,
And gave you
3-story house. I mean,
Listen,
I hear you.
Again, I'm a female, so sometimes some things come easier for us.
That's true.
I'm not going to lie about that.
Very true. And so you get kicked out, and we've talked about your story, and you ended up going to a treatment center / high school. Shout out Fairbanks.
Fairbanks. Yep.
That's an interesting concept.
It is.
What was that like?
Well, on the surface, it sounded great. I mean, it was a nice high school in like it's like the wealthier part of Indianapolis.
Are you a Colts fan?
And to be honest with you, I'm not a huge football fan.
Okay,
I
just
did
checking.
support the Steelers though during my time watching football in prison.
The Steelers.
The Steelers.
We'll get to that.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Okay.
Yeah, no, the concept of the high school is great, except that it's just pulling all the people I would seek out in a normal high school and then putting them all into one. So we just have a bunch of drug addicts running around. There's not even a normal person inside.
Yeah, there's not even a
who's-
mix, so you guys are just all
I don't
together.
even have to guess. I know they all do drugs.
Right.
You know?
So you guys are all co-signing bad ideas.
All
Was it one of those places where, I think about, like, when I think about this, I think about, like alternative school.
I was in alternative school.
Oh, I know you were.
It was a little trailer house, like behind the school, and that's exactly where it was all the bad kids.
Yeah, and they let you smoke cigarettes at your
Yep.
desk, right?
Well, not at our desk, but we could go out and have a cigarette break. Yeah.
And then you guys just go out there and fight each other and
Just do whatever we wanted, basically. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you got all your credits in like 3 months. And they're like, bye, you graduate.
Get out.
Yeah, shout out to my friend Mike Baker, and he got kicked out of school for fighting a soccer coach, and at Centennial High, and all of a sudden he went to Intelli in an alternative school, and he had all of his credits and graduated early before all of us. He went on to go to college.
That's what they do. They provide the resources for you to, like, online school.
Was it online school?
It was online for me.
No, it was not. It was like a 1 hour drive each way. You know, shout out to Dad for making that drive.
Oh,
for me
shout
every
out,
morning.
Pops.
Right?
Yeah. No, that was really out of the way.
So you're in treatment, you're going to school, and you actually get your GED, though.
Yeah, I mean, not from them, and which is not their fault. I ended up getting. I was on house arrest at the time, and I ended up getting violated or whatever it was, and went to a DOC.
You got put on house arrest when you got busted with the weed at school.
Yeah, I think that was the progression of that.
You had an ankle monitor on?
I did, and
how'd that make you feel?
I
mean, you said you were, a little bit husky. So did they have to get you that XL ankle monitor?
Oh my God, Jason.
I'm sorry, brother.
I don't think they did. I think it was standard size.
It was standard issue?
Standard.
Okay.
You had small
One
ankles.
size fits all.
Yeah.
One size fits all. Okay. And so, you're on house arrest, if we can't get our addiction figured out, we surely can't figure out probation. We surely can't figure out life, and we surely can't figure out house arrest. And so ultimately you end up going to juvenile, DOC, Department of Corrections for juvenile. What was that like for you?
That was a culture shock. First off, that was like my first time really getting put into a facility and not having a way for mommy and daddy to get me out of it or anything like that. And this is all the kids from Chicago and Gary, Indiana, and all that. A lot of them were shipped to the same facility, so it was different for sure.
Yeah, some fights.
Were you scared, Ethan?
I don't think I was scared. Oddly enough, throughout my entire life of getting arrested, my personality makes it to where some people tend to like me, and I just kind of coast on by,
Yeah, and so you did almost 8 months to a year or something like that.
Yeah, it was something in that ballpark.
And then that's when you got your GED.
Yeah, I got my GED there. Fully convinced I never would have had it if I didn't get arrested. And there's going to be a pattern of that in my story.
And so when you get out, I mean, what happens when you get out? You got a couple choices to make then, right?
I do. I remember my mom telling me, it's you're going to find a job or you're going to go to school. And I'm like, well, I don't really much care for the idea of going to work. So let's do the school thing. And I ended up going to Lincoln Tech for automotive technology, going to trade school.
Yeah. What kind of cars you work on?
Oh, they were just gasoline. They had the diesel program and then the
I was
gas
about to
engine
say
automotive.
when the AC went out on my wife's car the other day and I had everyone from the office out there, you didn't even come out there to
And
help.
guess who got it right?
And you were certified this whole time.
I just
didn't
want to
know.
throw that out there. I got it right.
Haley did
through
get
my
it right.
through my boyfriend.
Haley
though.
did take me down to Pep Boys and we got AutoZone.
Yep.
AutoZone, and we got in there and it was a complete shit show. It was a complete waste of drive. We looked at
well,
one
I
thing.
asked the guy, I was like, where are the relays? And he's like, oh, they should be on this wall somewhere. And he didn't even know at all what a relay was, I'm pretty sure.
Because
it was a relay and a fuse, which is what I said.
Yeah.
Through my boyfriend, of course, but.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? She had to use a lifeline to figure it out.
Well, my lifeline was correct, and it only cost you, $180 versus
it
like
it
couple
wasn't
grand.
very much.
I mean, I still call the shop when I have issues. Don't trip.
Okay. All right. And so, you end up graduating from a trade school and, you get engaged during this period of time.
Yeah, I did. I quickly had gotten engaged with my first wife was a friend of mine, kind of growing up. We lived by each other and we kind of grew up together, and something happened, man. I can't explain it. I ended up engaged.
You're just coasting through life, and then
Did
all
she
of a
ask
sudden
you
engaged.
or?
No, that was my doing. And to be honest with you, it just went into a completely different lifestyle. I did stay sober for a little bit. Keep in mind, I've been in the program now on and off since I was 14. And I found her and I got together and we started going to her sister's church, and we got real involved with the church. And then that was
Weren't you a Sunday school teacher? You told me that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. My wife and I actually taught. My ex-wife and I taught Sunday school to like the little second and third graders or
that's
something
cool.
like that. Yeah. Yeah. No,
And so when you're going into, juvenile DOC and you're in that treatment, / high school, I mean, you're using on and off, but you're also coming back to the program, relapsing, coming back to the program, using, coming back to the program. Was that kind of the cycle during that period of time?
Yeah, I mean that, or trying to
Do it on your own.
It's that or scheme the. Well, I mean, I had to go to the meetings. I was on either probation at one point. I was in a treatment facility. I had requirements. And I've had a sponsor at this point as well, on and off. Going through, and he even visited me when I was in the DOC facility, 2-hour drive.
And that, that's what it's.
That just shows you what the program's about.
Yeah,
right?
And what type of program you work, man, when you're willing to do those types of things. Those are the things that we all do today that helps keep us sober. And that's why we work here in recovery and treatment to help others, because ultimately, it's like that selfless program that we work, because it helps us so much, but it's also to help another, and that's really what we're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. And so, you end up getting married though, right?
Yeah. I ended up getting married to the woman I was engaged to. And we got married pretty quick, and I mean, we were doing well for a little while.
Yeah.
I was doing well for a little while. I mean, she never had the issues that I had. So
yeah, so she was always doing good. You were
Right.
you were just hot and cold.
Yeah, that was.
You ever been hot and cold, Haley?
Yeah, all the time.
When you were dope sick?
Every day.
Yeah, every day you're hot and cold.
I go up and down.
Yeah, it's like in the morning when you've been blacked out drunk the night before, and
Right.
you see your wife or your girl for the first time in the morning. You don't remember anything last night, and you're like, "Good morning, babe," and you just want to see how she's going to respond. If she's like, "Oh, good morning," you're like, "Yes, I'm not in trouble."
Night.
That's what I do every single time I come into the office, into our IOP, and I see Haley. I just say, "Good morning, Haley." I just want to see how she's going to respond.
Yeah, because getting 4 kids ready in the morning and not getting a lot of sleep at night, it takes a toll on you.
My favorite thing to do, I'm an early riser. I go to the gym real early in the morning, and I love calling Ethan. I love calling Haley around 7 a.m. And I'm already 3 cups of coffee deep.
And I'm barely getting out of bed.
And then
hating life.
By
No,
the
I'm just
time
kidding.
Haley's done yelling at her kids, then usually I can get the question in.
Oh, poor Jason.
And so, you end up, was it, okay, so you're younger. So I was going to say, because I know you ended up reconnecting with a high school sweetheart, and I was going to say MySpace there for a second.
MySpace was...
That's relevant.
Is it relevant? Okay,
Yeah.
I was trying to connect the dots. Was it
I think
MySpace?
Facebook was like probably my senior year that started to become really popular.
At the time of me ruining my marriage, I think it would have been Facebook.
Oh, it was Facebook.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we were in Facebook time.
So Facebook time happens, and all of a sudden, your old high school sweetheart slides into the DMs.
Yeah, man, something happened. I can't pin what it was. I don't know. I guess my guard was down on that one, and something, she popped up. She popped into my mind. She popped onto the messages, and
How many people slide into your DMs on a day-to-day basis, Haley?
I don't know. I have a blocker now.
Especially because it's that many.
Well, when my story blew up, like people from men from Brazil and different countries were like, "I can take care of you. Let me take care of you." And I thought about it for a minute because it did sound enticing,
I love that.
but
That sounds great.
Yeah, no, it's definitely blocked now. So those get weeded out through so I don't even see if someone.
You get so many DMs, you got to filter.
Yeah,
So
filter. That's what
they
it's called.
blocked the sugar daddies.
Yeah, it's
coming
a
through?
filter. Like I don't want that in my DMs. I'm good.
And so you reconnect with a high school sweetheart, and ultimately you start hanging out with her. Then all of a sudden you realize that she might be on drugs.
Well, no, I had a good feeling she was on drugs.
Oh, she had the Cookie
Monster.
Monster.
This is the one that we did.
Pajama pants.
This is the one we
That's
did
funny.
all the pills with and stuff when I was younger. And,
Oh.
mom was prescribed, and then, but I didn't know that she had moved on to that progression to shooting heroin.
Oh, So ultimately, you start getting high with her.
I do, and I'm I'm controlled about it because I'm just snorting it at first. It's powder back home, so
not a big
You're
deal.
just snorting it.
snorting heroin like a gentleman.
Yeah,
Like a gentleman.
yeah.
Where's your little top hat, Ethan?
Had the little aluminum tutor and the little case that folded out. I was classy, but I
oh,
still
yeah.
had money at the time.
Yeah, okay, but ultimately that the money goes quick.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
That happens.
It takes
Yeah, it
everything
goes
from you every
really
time.
quick.
And so now all of a sudden now you find yourself doing heroin, and we're starting to lose some jobs. We get divorced. We lose the house. I mean, was it quick?
Oh, that was real quick. That was, I think I kept my job, maybe a month into my.
Did
my
you steal
heroin
anything
addiction.
from your job?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was
Ethan's
doing
like, absolutely.
No, I was kind of playing interim manager of the parts department at the time, which gave me the opportunity to have complete control over the pricing of stuff and change little.
Yeah, put extra $20 on this part, and I'm gonna sell these other ones on Craigslist.
Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff.
You ever go on Craigslist, Haley?
Yeah, I've been on Craigslist.
What about Backpage?
Well, I used to...
Another show, another time?
Listen, I used to call myself a hoe secretary because I used to drive these two hoes around. It was a mother and daughter. And I would get their Amazon gift.
combo?
Yeah, I would get their Amazon gift cards and I would get their back pages set up and I would literally make $50 a John. I would drive them to their Johns all night.
Wow. So
I was the only one with a car,
surprisingly. So before the podcast when you were educating me on management.
I've been a manager, yeah.
You've been managing for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, and it doesn't help that I have 4 kids. So you have to manage pure chaos 24/7. So.
And so ultimately, man, you start losing everything and, when we're doing heroin or we're doing drugs, ultimately some consequences happened and you get arrested again, right?
Yeah.
No, a DUI or?
Yeah, I had a I had my first. Before that, I ended up having. I got my first charges as an adult. Before that, I had overdosed. I was in my place by myself before I lost it. And I'd overdosed, and my parents had came and found me the following morning. They were looking for me, and I guess I was all black and blue, and I was out. I mean, they took me to to the hospital, made it through 3 different rooms before I even knew what was going on. Couldn't walk, whole big deal. And I got charges from that in Indiana because I had paraphernalia in my house. So that was the first one.
So they hit you with that charge.
Oh yeah, felony possession of a syringe.
What, do you have a turkey baster next to it too?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Felony?
Yeah, that was the.
You ever used a turkey baster, Haley?
Jason.
We'll keep it professional. Oh
my gosh.
I apologize. I apologize.
What would it even be used for? That's my question.
Another show, another time. Another show. Shout out to all the turkey baster users.
I actually,
if you know what I'm talking about right now,
a lesbian couple who that's how their son was born was a turkey baster.
Okay.
And a friend. That's the only time I could think of.
Hashtag Wickenburg life.
Listen, that was never mind.
Okay, we'll move on from this one. That was my fault. I opened it up.
Good Lord, Jason.
Okay, so you're on probation, right? And then you ultimately get a DUI, you cobble some more heroin, you spend some time in jail, and what happens when you get out of jail?
Well, right before I get out. I tried calling my parents, and they didn't answer, and I tried calling again. They didn't answer, and I tried calling again.
Oh, you triple clutched them?
I did, and the reason they didn't answer is they said my girlfriend, who had left my wife to go back to, she had overdosed, and she didn't make it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the ugly side, I was watching this thing this morning, and it, the fentanyl is killing everyone. More people have died from fentanyl than all the different ailments and possibilities and tragedies combined, and more people have died from fentanyl. And so ultimately, man, there's a funeral, you happen to get out right on the same day, and the DOC, you have a warrant naturally.
Yeah.
And so they transport you to the funeral shackled up.
Yeah. I got released the day of the showing, but I had a hold in another county, which was where the showing was at. So they drove.
You're already on your way.
Yeah. So they were nice enough to stop by the funeral home on the way to the jail, so I could at least go sign the little first one to sign the guest book. And
did you put Triple OG Ogden on there?
I did not put Triple OG Ogden. Just one O in that particular
and,
situation.
And that's the sad part about it, man. And that's the insanity of our illness. You would think when we overdose, you would think when we get arrested, you would think when we go to jail, you would think that when people are dying all around us or even super close to us, family members, friends, you would think that we'd want to stop or we'd get help or we'd see a problem. But the problem with that is we got an emotional problem.
Now it's an excuse.
Yeah, and it's the negative emotions that start to rain down, the guilt, the shame, the embarrassment, the remorse, the regret, and all those things. So that just makes for more using again. So you get out of jail and you use again right away?
There may have been a day I didn't, but shortly thereafter, yeah, it was off to the races, and now I do have an excuse, and now I have something to be sad about because I didn't have the childhood to be upset about. So now I'm upset about this, and this is what I'm going to use about.
Yeah, and so I got to blame everything else and everybody because it allows me to continue my negative
Right.
behavior. You ever done that, Haley?
Yeah, when I got my kids taken away, instead of, putting my boots on and doing the right thing, I was like, no, this is a great excuse to continue getting high.
Oh, yeah.
And I did.
And when we're, before we find recovery, all we know is identify a problem, more problem, contribute to the
Right.
problem, make it worse.
Right.
Right. So recovery is all about identifying a problem, getting to the solution. That's
Right.
what it's all about. But it takes you a while to get to the solution, just like it did me. And so you get arrested again, right?
Yeah. A couple more overdoses later and some more felonies later. I end up getting arrested for a trafficking or receiving stolen auto parts was the charge. It was a very specific
You got back
charge.
into the auto part game?
Very specific charge. No, what it was, I took my dad's truck because I didn't have my license anymore.
Of course
and I
not.
didn't have my car because I wrecked it.
Of course.
Drove dad's truck and they called the cops. Shout out mom and dad.
Shout out mom and dad.
They were just trying to save your life.
And
Yeah.
they did. And
Right.
I told them I loved them as I was getting in the cop car. They loved me, and I was never really resentful towards them about that.
And so this time you do, 6 months, right?
Sat in county for 6 months, yeah.
And then did you sign a plea or?
Yeah, so I sat there for 6 months, and, my mom, being the loving parent she is trying to work in the background and help arrange for me to be able to go to treatment instead of going to prison or doing whatever, because I've had a few felony convictions at this point.
Yeah, just a couple.
And it's successful. I get there and I sign a plea for alternative sentencing. They're not only allowing me to go to treatment instead of doing 18 months in, jail or prison, but treatment in Arizona.
AZ.
So that's how you wind up here?
Oh.
Like most. That's how I wound up here in Arizona.
Yeah. Come for treatment, get on probation,
End up staying.
come back on a violation,
Yeah.
and you never leave.
Haven't been back in Indiana since.
Haven't been back since.
Have not.
And so you sign a plea and, to go to treatment, and you come out here and you go to Promises, shout out Promises in Prescott. Prescott has
We have a huge recovery.
Oh, it's ridiculous
Yeah.
out there.
Overran by just people in the program and in treatment.
And, the odds of recovery just aren't very good. I know we see it on a day-to-day basis. We're all miracles for that
Right.
matter, for, the amount of recovery that we all have and continue to have. But most people don't make it, so they ended up just staying in Prescott.
Yeah, no, and we did. I definitely didn't stay sober at Promises for very long.
Because you fell in love in the methadone line? In the med line?
Yeah, we had some rehab romance, which directly isn't what caused me to leave. I mean, she left, I stayed, and then I just happened to get high with somebody else and got kicked out of that program.
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say that maybe that relationship got in the way of your recovery, which led to your relapse?
Right.
Ooh, might be. That's insightful.
Ooh. Thank you, brother.
I know something about that.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, we're going to have a whole episode about that.
Just my relationship choices and how it gets in the way of my recovery.
Well, it happens.
It does.
See, what happened is I met this girl, and,
Right.
I met this dude, and here we are.
Early in recovery and just.
We're in love.
Yeah.
We got the same problem. We'll help each other. We'll go to meetings together. We can
yeah.
do this.
Sponsor each other.
Yes.
They're my higher
Co-sponsor.
power now.
Yeah, and then it always ends bad. And so ultimately, man, you end up leaving. You bounce around Prescott for a little bit. You go to Reflections. Shout out to Reflections. I mean, you're doing the just treatment, sober living shuffle out there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I did. And running around homeless, all twacked out before I made it to Reflections 2 weeks.
Were you homeless in the winter?
No, I don't
Even
believe
in
so.
the summer in Prescott, it's so beautiful up there.
No, I mean, because everybody was trying to kill me.
Well, I'm just saying
you know what I
the
mean.
weather.
Was that a
isn't
victim
bad.
of your delusions, or was it real?
Yeah, like shortly thereafter. I mean,
Every-
after day 3, like,
Everybody's after me.
everybody.
What's the longest you ever stayed up on meth?
18 days.
Oh, my God.
That's got me beat.
You must look like something from The Hills Have Eyes.
That and yeah, with women, I would always get myself in really uncomfortable predicaments, and you just don't go to sleep in certain houses with certain people.
heard
You know
that.
what I mean?
I do.
Yeah,
Heard that.
actually, I do know what you mean.
Yeah, because if you do, crap happens and it sucks. So
Yeah, we don't want that.
no.
And so, you end up, you're in Reflections, and then all of a sudden they probably let you use your phone after a certain period of time, and then
About 30 days.
and then baby girl hits you back up from the rehab.
Yeah, and she's coming down or up. She's coming up.
She's coming up to
Prescott.
get you. I'm gonna come get you.
That wasn't the plan. We were just gonna.
Oh, you were just gonna go to
hang
lunch?
out.
Like have
You
a
know what I
visit.
mean? Yeah, we were gonna get a hotel room, whatever. We were gonna hang out, and that just immediately wasn't how that went at all.
And so she ended up, taking you to Santan Valley.
Yeah,
That sucks.
yeah. Valley.
Santan Valley. I mean, that's right by Florence Prison, just about.
Yeah, we're gonna go stay at her mom's house. It's gonna be
Oh,
great.
we're gonna stay with Mom.
Yeah, she had no idea I was coming.
Oh, really?
That's so
Mom-
awkward.
Yeah.
Just showing up at her mom's house with her.
I didn't know that she didn't know. I mean, that was really uncomfortable.
So when you
for
walked
me.
in, did you say, "Hey, Mom," and give her a hug?
I did not. I mean, I introduced myself, and they were immediately, I think, yelling back and forth, if I remember correctly.
And you're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
So awkward. The things
know.
we do when we're getting high, right? Or
So, I mean,
The
you're not off to a
situations.
good start. We can just say that out there
No.
in Santan Valley. And so, just like the majority of every rehab romance that usually ends bad. And so now this relationship ends bad. You're out there in Santan Valley. You're from Indiana, lived out there your whole life. You don't know anyone out here except the people in Prescott that you met along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so that leads to being homeless.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
That once again, that culture shock we talked about that was going on here. And it was. I pretty much essentially got dropped off at the Victory Inn off like Bell in the 17.
Oh,
dang.
And,
by the Walmart.
Yeah,
Oh my.
and that was my stomping grounds for a little bit in the
Anything
in
off
almost
the
game.
I-17 is just sketchy.
That was
Especially
awesome.
That's where
now.
I used to hang out. Yeah.
No, I felt free at the time. Initially, I was like, I'm free. This is cool. Made some homeless friends. We're having fun.
Did you guys live in like cardboard boxes and like alleyways?
No, there was a car wash that was it's not there anymore. We missed that car wash, but they were nice enough to let us sleep underneath the thing. If
That was
we
one of those
cleaned up.
self-washing ones where you got the put out the sprayer and you do it yourself.
No. It was like a waiting area. It was like a covered waiting area where other people washed the car, but at night they would let us sleep there as long as we cleaned up.
That's a good gig, actually.
It was a good
Not
gig.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived in my Suburban, so
it's-
when
it's
I was
a
homeless,
3-story house.
yeah, everyone
homeless in a suburban.
Everyone's like, "You're not really homeless," but it was summertime and the
lifted
AC
suburban.
didn't work,
and so
and that thing sucked.
And so ultimately it goes into you actually going back to Prescott, and then you relapse again. Now you're back out there, and then now you start selling dope, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had to try my hand at selling some dope again.
Yeah.
Did it work for a little while?
You know what? It worked. I played my cards just right, where I was hanging out with the right people to where I had a house, like a nice house to stay in. We had food, and then it's selling dope, convinced them to use their money to get the original bet, and everything went well for a little bit. Driving around somebody else's car, got a place to live, and not having to pay for my own drugs.
And then next thing you know, you get arrested again. And that's how it always happens.
Right.
And we get arrested. And then you find yourself sitting in the DOC, Arizona DOC, Department of Corrections. You get a 2-year prison sentence. What was that time like for you?
It saved my life. But going into it, I had this mindset that, okay, this is kind of been my life on and off since I was 14. So this is what my future is destined to be. You know what I mean? So I tried to get as comfortable as I could really quick. And I went down or I went into it, and I'd never been to prison before. Lockdown yard because they had a riot.
Oh,
There.
yeah, that's
out
always
there in
fun.
Cheyenne. Lockdown yard.
Shout out Yuma. Mm-hmm.
So you spent your time in Yuma?
I did. That entire 2 years was at Cheyenne and Yuma, and it was locked down for
All the
close
time.
to half of it.
Yeah.
That
And so,
sucks.
but that's where your story really starts to take a turn, and you got some prison time. It catches your attention. You start to find some recovery while you're there. And you start to really piece together, because you've been introduced to the fellowship and the program since you were 14 years old. So now you're starting to connect the dots. You're looking at the powerlessness. You're looking at the unmanageability in your life, and you're starting to have just enough honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness to do something different. And so you get released from prison. When do you get released?
January of 2020.
And so you
got released.
You got released, and you go to Sanctuary Sober Living.
Shout out Sanctuary.
I love this.
Yes, and so we've had sober livings for over 10 years. We have 5 sober living
11 years
homes.
now.
Oh, is it 11 years?
Mm-hmm.
And so, here we have all the different levels of care from residential RTC to, PHP housing with our IOP facility. And we also have the sober livings, but we started with the sober livings and they're DOC approved. And so you can get approved from DOC to go there. And that's what you did. And you started there. And then you started working at, because you're automotive certified, right? Shout out Helping Hand Automotive.
Yep. That was the start, man. That was a good gig. Had a place to live and a job off the rip. Joey took me to Studio 164 right when I got out, and I'd never met Joey at the time. We got in touch with him because my mom was a part of PAL. Because she wanted to stop the enabling.
Yeah, very involved in PAL.
Yeah, I do know. Parents of addicted loved ones, PAL.
Yep. Shout out to them.
And that lucked out, man. And he put me in Studio 164, and he doesn't give me the outside seat. And I just got out of prison, so I'm pretty uncomfortable around a bunch of people right now. And he puts me on the inside seat, and all these chairs are touching each other, and I'm like, bro, my anxiety's through the roof.
Well, you got to get uncomfortable in order to grow, though.
Man, that led to a pretty good start getting out of prison.
Yeah, and so, Joey's got the shop, Helping Hand. You're living at our sober living. He takes you the owner of the company takes you to a meeting, We're all hands-on. We're always, just because we work from, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or whatever our hours might be, we're constantly continuing to help others in, multiple different ways. And Joey's been doing that for a very, very long time. And so you work at Helping Hand, and then you find a sponsor at Crossroads. Which one? Which Crossroads? Arcadia?
Man, yeah, I believe so.
56th Street and Thomas?
I'm not even going to know off the top of my head right now.
Well, there's Crossroads East, there's Crossroads West, there's the one in Mesa now.
Midtown.
Oh, it wasn't Mesa.
Midtown.
There's Flower.
There's Flower.
Yeah.
Okay. So ultimately you get a sponsor and you start working the steps, and that's where the real psychic change and transformation takes place in your life. And shout out to all the sponsors out there who take the time to drive across town to meet with the guys, man.
Right.
And, because that's what it's all about. But you had this passion, right, to work in treatment, right?
Yeah.
And so, you wanted to wait 6 months before you started working in treatment, right?
Yeah, I wanted to give a little bit of time and make sure that I could be qualified as well, to be able to. I had this feeling that I wasn't going to be able to get hired, or I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it at all, either. And I did, though. I ended up getting hired at a treatment facility shortly after, about 6 months after prison.
And so you started working in recovery, and you found that you got a reward from it. You enjoyed it. It became a passion of yours, and then ultimately, because you were with the Sanctuary, team, as soon as you got out, we knew about you. And when we opened this IOP, back in January, when we opened the IOP, you were one of the first employees that was hired. We pulled you away. We got you over here, and you became the case manager over here at the, IOP location. What's that been like working here?
It's been great. Being able to be a part of something that, look from the beginning, and seeing when we had the 2 clients coming into the group, and then, the next week it's 4 clients, and then 6 clients, and then we get, the new staff and employees, and everybody here has been great. There's not, over at the other place that I worked at, there were a lot of people that, maybe I didn't get along with so well, but over here, everybody, we all have, it seems like we all have a vision, and we all
are going towards that.
Yeah.
And we have that sense of camaraderie, and we really are a family here. Like, I would drop everything and, run to your aid if you needed it. Same with Jason.
Yeah.
We're always
So,
helping each other out.
You don't even answer when I call, Haley.
Stop it, Jason. Yes, I do.
Nah, I call you all the time.
Doesn't matter what time of day is, I answer.
You always answer when I call. And so what we've developed here is a family type, situation.
Right.
And, that's so important. Open communication with each other, the honesty that we have, the joint action. We're all taking action with one common goal. We share in the decisions that are being made around here. And in doing so, it allows us to have genuine concern and care for one another, and also every client that we have.
Right.
And so, you've learned a lot, and you've continued to elevate yourself here with the company, and, be an amazing case manager. And we're just super grateful to have you on our team and, have you on our show today. So thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
It was a good show.
That was a good show, Haley?
It was a good one.
Okay.
I haven't heard. I
Well-
mean, I've heard bits and pieces of his story because we,
Well, when production
and
hears
Ethan
this,
sit next
and
to
I just
each
want
other.
production to know that Haley said that this was a good show.
it was a great show. My bad.
Good is often the enemy of great. So, Haley, before we close out the show, let them know where they can find us at and subscribe to our stuff, like our stuff, comment, reach out to us, share it, because we're just trying to get the message of true healing out there so we can help as many people, men and women who are desperately in need.
Yes.
So where can they find us,
So
Haley?
we're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, all at Sanctuary Recovery Centers.
Sanctuary Recovery Centers. So
Yeah.
thank you for being on the show and tune into the next episode. Our episodes always drop on Friday, so be ready for them. They come out on Friday, and again, just be part of what we got going on in any capacity, whatever that is. All we want you to do is come be a part of our recovery team. So tune into the next episode.
See you next time.
Hey, so we had to cut the podcast a little bit short. I didn't get to mention, I'm blessed enough to have my wife and 2 stepchildren in my life today. They've been a vital part of my recovery. And we're a team, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. So I love you and I appreciate it.